quotes here. They are generally outside the quotation. So that's why, so whenever you have a string and variables, or string and integers, or a combination of different things, then you must separate them with comma. That's what we learned in our first approach, that your string and the variable must be separated by comma. If you have a multiple strings and multiple variables, then every string should separate with a comma with a variable. So addition of will be string, so write in double quotes and write comma, and then a, then comma, and all. And also we concluded that this approach is not good for big strings to be printed. Okay, this approach is not good for big strings to be printed, because a lot of commas and a lot of double quotes will be there. So there is a maximum probability that you may end up with some syntactical error. Okay, you may miss to put these double quotes, or you may miss to put the comma and all, so you will end up with some error here now. Okay, so that's why we need to be careful. Then we talk about the second approach, which is called string modulus operator. Okay, which is percentile symbol. And we also told you that it is deprecated because of reason like it's user dependent. No doubt, initially in Python 2, they thought that it's a good way because many people come with C background and they feel comfortable to use this format specifiers to print the data. But we all know that C also faced this problem, that using format specifier is not good in any programming language, because it's user dependent. Like if user has to tell which format it has to convert. So that's why if user do any mistake with format specifier, then you will not get any syntactical error, as we seen in our last session. That will not get any syntactical error, but it's right. It's not like it's not good, right? You will end up with some wrong output. So that's not permissible. So that's why this approach is also not that this approach is deprecated actually. But we learned that it's good for formatting your output, because your every format specifier will contain this percentile followed by the type. Like if you wanted to print an integer value, you will write percentile D. If you print a float value, you will write percentile F, and you will print a string value, you will write percentile S. And there are many more format specifier to print the other types of data. But these are the basic format specifier. You have to print your very common data like string, float, and integer. This is very common data you deal with in regular life. Okay, and it also takes minimum value dot precision value. Okay, so it takes minimum value and dot precision value. We seen that how to format your output. We took some couple of examples, like we print tabular data, and we seen that if you wanted to format them properly, then I can use this minimum value, which tells that how many minimum number of spaces you wanted to print before the variable, before the value, or you can say what is the minimum digits you need to print it. Okay, if it is less, it will add a space to the left. That's what we learn for the minimum. And this dot precision value, we learn that it generally used with floating point value, because in floating point value in Python, it will print up to 16, 15 to 16 precision value. Meaning float in Python will be printed up to 15 to 16 precision value. Like for example, I wanted to print this pi value the way we have used last time, if you remember. Okay, we have used pi in Python. So if I wanted to print this pi value, then it gets printed me with 15 to 16 precision value, because that's more precise value will be more perfect. Like I will import math here now. I'll import math. Then if I print math.py, you will see that it gets printed up to 15 precision values. Actually it prints me 3.1415926535897 and 3. But this will be like sometimes printing these big values may not be good. Okay, and obviously user also wanted to round it to 2 digits or 3-digit value, so that you can see that output in a little precise way. If you wanted to have a precise value, we can use this in formulas, no doubt, but while printing, it's not required to print that big value actually. So for that reason, we learned two approaches till now. We learn how to round it off to 2 digits and 3 digits, but we also have this print function. If you wanted to print this, you can use percentile f. Okay, but this time you can tell the precision value, and you can tell that only you want 2 digits after point. You wanted to print only 2 digits after point. So use this percentile symbol, which is string modulus operator, and as it is a single variable, you can directly write it. Okay, no need for brackets. You can say math.py. This time you will see that it will print only 2 digits after point. So if you wish to round it off or to print only 2 to 3 digits after point, you can always use this precision value, and please remember the syntax. Please remember the syntax I told you. You will use minimum value dot precision value and followed by the type. And believe me, this is an additional knowledge. If you follow, well and good, it will also help you in C language. But if somebody did not follow, don't worry. Okay, be relaxed, don't worry, because this anyhow we are not going to use it. So if you didn't follow it, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong. Okay, but still it's a good point. It's a add-on to your knowledge, so you will know that in C language as well, because everybody have learned C in their academics, so somehow somewhere it will help you. So this is an additional point you will implement in C language, that how to print the data in the formatted fashion, how to print your data in some formatted way, or especially when you're dealing with floating point value, how to print some decimal points after the point, that how to use this precision to print that decimal values. I hope it's clear. Any questions? Any questions regarding this comma operator and string modulus operator? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Vishwajit. Thank you, Manda. Yeah. Thank you, Abul. Thank you, Nitesh. Let me check with others as well. Yeah. Prashanti says no. Thank you. Udit, Satyam, Naren, everyone says no question. Yeah. So Snehal, Rajshekhar, yeah, Diljit, Anjali. Yeah, one of the good thing about this batch is like what I felt till now is like most of the people are like responsive. That's a good sign for success and all, because to make the batch success, it's your interaction, your questioning makes very important. Okay, so thank you for that and keep it up, so that we'll get benefit for that. Okay, thank you all for your response. Okay, so let's get into and talk about like string formatted function. I told you like this is one we're going to use in our future. Like all the problems, we will use this approach. Okay, or the comma. Like comma is one of the good thing, is the easiest way. If you have a simple print function to print it, and you don't want to format any output, then always go for comma operator. And if you have a big string to be printed along with some format function, formatted way, then please go with string format function. So instead of format specifier, the Python people has introduced this format function. And the beauty of this format function is it will automatically convert into appropriate type. Meaning now you don't have to use this percentile D, percentile F and all. In some cases we still use them, but not much. Python will automatically convert by understanding. So that's the beauty. That's why people would like to use, and that is the reason it is deprecated, because Python says that now in Python 3, I have a better way of printing your output. So why do you want to go for this approach? So that's why Python people has deprecated. Okay, so let's get into and talk about the syntax of this string format function. First, let me talk about the syntax of this string format function. What is the syntax of it? So as usual, we will write print function, name of the function called print. Okay, we'll start the double quotes. We'll start the double quotes, and whatever the string you wanted to print it, you will print the string. And if you wanted to print any value from a variable, then what you will do is you will simply use this placeholder. You'll simply use this placeholder. The opening flower bracket and closing flower bracket is generally called placeholder. Okay, and you will end up with double quotes now. You just write the placeholder, and this placeholder is exactly similar to the format specifier you have used in the earlier programs like percentile D and all. The only difference is here you will not tell them in which format it has to convert. Our string format function will automatically convert them. So you have to call that format function. So you can use this dot operator, not the comma, and call the function. Call the function using this dot operator called format. Okay, the name of the function is format, which is a string function. So you're using this string, and on string you're using this dot operator and calling this string format function. This is how you have to call them. And please don't get confused with the syntax. For string modulus operator, we use modulus after the string. For comma operator, we use comma after the string. But for format function, you will use dot to call that function, because you are calling the function. So you have to call that with dot operator. You have to call that with dot operator. So they are not same. Syntactically, you need to be careful here. You should not mix up with the syntax, because that's what I have seen when I seen some people started already. They shown me like when we ask you to solve the problem. I've seen that people already used it, but I found some mistakes in that. So that's why we need to be very careful with the syntax. Okay, we should not do this mistake. That anyhow comes with practice, but if you listen the syntax carefully, you will never ever do that mistake, because you are very clear that when to use comma, when to use modulus operator, and when to use string function. And now the beauty of this is, uh, no, we are not passing the variable in the curly brackets here. We are passing the variable here in the format function, Udit. We are passing the variable inside the format function now. So what this format function will do is, it will take the variable and check for the variable data type and automatically convert and display in this placeholder. So basically this is call it as placeholder now. Okay, yeah, it's a question, so anyway cannot pass variable in it. Very good. Okay, Udit, that's, thank you for your question. Okay, so here in the placeholder, this is called placeholder, guys. Placeholder. And format is a string function. It's a string function. Okay, and always we know that function will take arguments like input function, int function, float function. Many functions we learn, and we learn that functions may take multiple arguments actually. So here you will pass the variables as the argument. Okay, so these are the arguments actually. These are the arguments what you pass. So separated by comma, obviously, as number of arguments you pass. And the beauty of this format function is automatically convert into the data type what you wanted to print it. It automatically converts into the data type what you want to print it. Like for example, if I wanted to print an integer, I can take a variable k is equal to 2, and I want to print this integer. I can use this print function, and I can use this flower brackets, okay, double quotes ended. Then I can use this format function, and I can print that variable called a. This time parenthesis is mandatory, even though you have a single variable, because you are using the function. Now when I press enter, now you can see here it's printing me 2. It's printing me 2. So Python has automatically converted. You see, I didn't say that it's percentile D or percentile F, because that was the problem we faced with modulus, string modulus operator, because here we have to tell in which format it has to convert. So it's dependent on user to say that which format we have to convert. So that's what the thing Python people wanted to change, that Python no more dependent on user, so that user will not say which format it has to convert. The Python format function made so intelligent that it can find out what is the data type of this integer, so sorry, variable, and then it converts into appropriate type and display it. So this is the smartness of Python. That's why its input function and output function is much better than any other programming languages. Believe me, it's much better, much flexible, easiest way for taking input and output compared to any programming languages like C, C++, and Java. Okay, so I don't feel like they're good enough for dealing with input and output from user generally. Okay, especially C programming language. Now if you wanted to make this as a floating point value, if you wanted to make this as a floating point value, then you can make use of this way. Okay, you can say this again and again. You don't have to tell them what is this data type actually. You can see here the same format function I will use again and again. Okay, you'll see the same way and it gets printed me the floating point value. So you see that first print function and the second print function both are same. There's no change in that, but still I'm getting the same result. I'm getting 2 here and I'm getting 3.14 here. Okay, and I didn't told that whether it has to convert into integer or whether it has to convert into float or whether it has to convert into string or complex number on any data type. The format function can recognize all 14 data types available in Python, can convert into and can print it appropriately. So that's the beauty of this particular format function. Okay, but let us see that more in detail about this particular syntax, because I did told you that actually in the syntax, okay, it this parenthesis, as Udit asked, because he might have seen somewhere, so that's why he's concerned that what we can write inside this flower brackets. That's what his question. Obviously we will not pass the variable here, but this opening and flower brackets, okay, will actually contain two different things. So let's talk about what are the two different things you can write it here. So you can write the index of the variable separated by colon, separated by the colon, and then here also you can write the minimum value dot precision value, dot precision value, and followed by the type, followed by the type, meaning you can still use the same advantage what we seen in the above one. You can also see the same advantage if you would like to do that. Yeah, that's what we can round it, Bull. That's what I wanted to show you, that it has the inside this brackets I can write that minimum value or precision value to round it. We can still do that. Okay, we can still format that. That's what this format function is all meant about. So to display two variable values, we need to write two curly brackets. Yes, of course, Vamshi, we need to write two curly brackets. Wherever you want to print that variable content, Vamshi, you will write that curly brackets. The way you use this percentile d whenever you wanted to print that integer value, right? So you combine this string with that format specifier. Similar way, Vamshi, here we will combine this with parenthesis. Okay, we'll combine string with parenthesis here now. So whenever you wanted to print any content of a variable, then you will use this placeholder. Then you will use this placeholder. So please, we call this as placeholder. Okay. Thank you for the question, Ubul and Vamshi. So good. Now we will see that if I wanted to print like our math value, pi value, sorry, then you've seen that now it will print me with that big precise value. Now I can say math.pi. Now I can see here that will print me that 15 digits value. I don't want. I wanted to make it to 2 digits the way we did. It's possible. What you need to do here is you need to use this math.pi, but this time you make sure that follow the syntax, put the colon, because you don't want to mention the index. It's okay, you can skip the index. I'll talk about what is meaning of index actually. You can skip the index, but you must put the colon. If you're not putting index also, you must put the colon. Then you can use minimum value or precision value. Again, you can see that minimum value is not required, so you can say point to f. Point is to tell that it's you wanted to use precision value, and 2 will tell that if you print only 2 value after the digit, and f tells you that it's a floating point value. So here you need to mention the type. If you are using that format, that minimum value and the precision value, then only you need to require the format to be uh, used, but don't need for percentile symbol. Simply you can say f now, telling that it's a floating point value. Done. When we go here and press enter, you can see here I can still print the way I did here now. Okay, the way I have used here percentile point to if it's mandatory to use here, but it is an optional, but you can still round it off to your required digits now. And also the way we learn that we use a for loop, right? We use a for loop printed like this for I in range of 1 to 11, 1 to 11, and then we printed that using print function, and we said that percentile 2d, okay, percentile 3d, and percentile 4d for printing appropriate value, followed by percentile symbol, and then I can use I comma I multiply by I, okay, comma I multiply with I multiply with I, and then bracket close, and then another bracket close. I'll press enter now, and you can see that it's printing me in the proper format. It's printing me in the proper format. If you wanted such kind of output with our print format function, still I can do that. So now what I will do is here, instead of this percentile d and all, we'll use this curly brackets for 3 times because I wanted to print 3 values. But now you see that it will not print me the way we want. Okay, it will not print me, sorry, the syntax is wrong, right? So we need to be careful. Okay, we need to use dot here. Whenever we are using placeholder, you must use dot. Okay, and then you use format so that it converts into the type. Now you see here it's printing me but not properly formatted as we did before. So if you wanted to use and format them properly, then you can again use this minimum value. You can use this minimum value. And also do not forget to print that colon, because colon is mandatory. Okay, so you can say colon 2d and colon 3d, okay, and colon 4d. So still you can use the same features what you have learned before. So that's why this is much better, right? You can still use the same features but in a more appropriate way. So do you all agree that our last approach is much better than all the earlier approaches? Okay, thank you Satyam. Yeah, thank you Vishwajit, and thank you Udit. I hope, except that index, the syntax is very clear. Yeah, thank you Aditi, thank you Rajshekhar. Yeah, thank you Siva Krishna. So I hope it's clear for everyone now that how we use string format function. Yeah, thank you, Roshan. So we use a print function and we use this placeholder. This opening flower bracket and closing flower bracket is called placeholder. Yeah, I'll talk about Nitesh. I didn't talk about index yet. So that's why I to ask you, except this index, everything is clear, right? Now we will introduce index now, but we will use placeholder. You will write the index and then colon minimum value dot precision value and the type. So whatever we learn about this format specifier syntax, it's do still acceptable in this format because that one of the advantage we have seen here. So that's what the Obul's question, like, can we format them still the way we did before? Yes, we can format them still we did before. Okay, so index would be used in case of dictionary or tuple or list, right? No, this not exactly. I'll tell you what is this index is all about. Okay, but you're almost close, but not that reason. I'll tell you why we use index. And we use minimum value and dot precision value. So we already did many examples on that. And I hope no question on minimum. What is minimum value and what is precision type? So when to use minimum value, when to use precision, that is your call. It's important. I have shown you examples we will use in our future examples as well, so that it makes clear. But I think it's very clear that when to use minimum value and when to use precision and followed by the type. Okay, and you can use, you should always use dot operator. You notice in our here I by mistake I kept the same because I copy pasted. I forgot to change it to dot format function. I end up with an error saying that arguments, not all arguments convert during the string format. So they are not able to convert into appropriate type because I used the wrong syntax. So be careful with that. Okay. So you must use dot followed by the name of the function and pass the arguments. Like here, I'm having 3 placeholders. So there must be 3 arguments here now. Sorry, here there must be 3 arguments here because I'm using 3 placeholders here now. So there must be 3 arguments. Okay, so place them. Now what I will do is I will copy this one and I'll introduce you what is meant by index value. Sometimes what happen here is I want to print this. You can change this order. That's what I mean to say. You can change this order. You can print this last line first, this line second, and the second line at last. You can change them because this also have indexes. Like this will be at the 0 index, this will be at the first index, and this will be at the second index. That's what Udit confirms about. But generally, we will can never pass a tuple or a dictionary here, Udit, because we are calling the format function, and what we are passing are the arguments actually with comma separated. But these arguments will also take the index. This will take first 0 index. This will take first index, and this will take second index. So what happens now? If I say 2 here, if I say 0 here, and if I say 1 here, then you will see the output will be here. this last value will be printed first. Okay, this value will be printed in between, and the second argument will be printed at the end. So now the order has been changed. So if you want to change the order of the output, then you will use this index thing. I hope it's clear now. If you want to change the order of the output, you can change the outputs. So good to see that Shikawat did not understood. Yeah, I will explain once again, Shikawat. So you are passing three arguments. Is that clear? You are passing three arguments. Okay. Yeah, always I appreciate the sincerity. You always, every one of you have a right to ask me to repeat the things, and always make sure you should tell me at the right time, because when we conclude, if like if any of you did not follow, then it will be like repeating the things will be little tedious, little tough. Okay, because for me as well as for you, because we about to conclude, and one of you, like some of you did not follow, so like it's not easy for both of us, because for me also, explaining from the beginning will be like, we may like other people who have already understood, they may not feel good. Okay, and also we lose time, and it's always better. That's why I appreciate whenever we ask question, you always have right. You can send, tell me privately, no problem. Okay, if you can tell to everyone also, everyone will traveling in the same ship, so they appreciate you as well. Okay, so that's good. That's what I want to add, guys. That's why I love questioning, because that's how we can move forward, right? I cannot move forward if any one of you having a doubt and still I'm moving forward. It means that it's going to affect you in the future sessions as well. Okay, so that's minimum thing we all should do, that before ending the session we should be clear that whatever we learn, okay, are understand. Okay, little practice is required, that's needed. You may not tell that I am 100% confident on that, but you're confident on everything. You feel comfortable that if I do some revision, I will overcome that problem what I have. That required. Sometimes revision will help you, like whatever the running notes you are maintaining, or referring the textbooks or notes, whatever we forward you, you can refer that and you can do revision out of it. That's always better. Okay, you can do revision for making you more confident on that. But generally, okay, so there was a question. Let me answer that question, and then I will explain what Shikawat was asking. Like, we are using percentile d for integer and percentile f for float. Is it not necessary in the string format? Yes, yes, actually. That's what we learn here, that it's automatically detected. It's automatically detected. So if you don't give index, then by default it will print 0, 1, 2, 100%. 100%. So let me put this chat to everyone, because that is what I wanted to tell here, that if you do not mention this index, as it is optional, by default it will take 0, 1, 2 index, or whatever, how many arguments you pass, based on that it will take it, right? So as uh, I put on the chat, please go through. So if we do not give index, like I did not give, if I don't give index here now, you see, I did not give any index here according to the syntax. So by default, it will printed me the first argument, second argument value, and third argument value. So first placeholder will print the first argument, the second placeholder will print the second argument value, and third placeholder will print the third argument value. Understood, everyone? So if we, is that things are clear? So if we are reading from right to left, then we use -1. No, no, there is no -1 concept here. Okay, we'll not use that. So we'll appropriately use that index value. Okay, so here you can, the first value will be at 0, the second will be at 1, and third will be at 2. What you're telling is true with tuple list and other types. Okay, but at least not here now. Okay, so now if I wanted to change the order, yeah, if I wanted to change the order, like I am printing first as usual based on whatever I have passed, but sometime it can be required. Sometime what you want is you want to change this order of the output. So I change the order of the output. I told that whatever in the previous output you're printing at last, I wanted to print it at first. Obviously the format is not correct because it will print only two spaces. I should print four spaces here, then I should print two spaces here, then I should print three spaces here, then only it looks good. Okay, because I'm printing three digit, four digits here actually. So I should tell them minimum I want to print four digits. So add spaces accordingly. That's what I'm telling. Here I'm saying that I wanted to print that zeroth index value, which is I value. So I value will be printed here. I multiply by I multiply by I will be printed, which is the last column. Here, as usual, the 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10 gets printed, and here the two-digit value will be printed. Now you see here when I press enter now, you see that it prints me something different. So the previous output and this output is little changed. But you see there is only minor difference here that I have added only index value but not in order like 0, 1, 2. Because as like SK told that if you do not mention the index, it will always print you in order, which is 0, 1, 2. So you don't have to mention the index if you want to print in the order. You will only mention the index if you don't want to print them order, you want to change the order. Now you see that the answer is getting printed first, then this one, and then the other one. Okay, so that way it's getting printed now. If I print one here, okay, I cannot change now, I need to copy paste. So if I change one here and if I change 0, then obviously second digit numbers will be printed here and last you will get the result here. So now can I conclude with it that index is understood? Shikawat? Yeah, thank you Udit. Thank you Rajshekhar. Yeah, thank you Nitesh. Yeah, so the conclusion we'll do with our problem. Okay, we'll conclude this, but let me tell that this is the approach we will follow whenever, especially whenever you have to print the format. Yeah, I'll show the output. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so it will be very helpful, and you can also change the index, and you can also format them, and you can print the precise value. Yes, that's what Nitesh. We will solve yesterday's homework problem now, and from now we will use this approach now. Okay, if the now conclusion is what to use. The conclusion is what to use. Let me add fourth one also because I told you there are four ways. Let me add the fourth one as well, which is very rarely used. That's why I'm adding it as a fourth one. Very rarely used. I will adding as a fourth one. Okay, but now after discussing the fourth one, we will conclude that which one to be used when. Okay, that will help you, right? But you can have a conclusion now. You can see that if you wanted to print a simple thing for this particular problems, like this is better using comma operator. Anyhow, we are not going to use this modulus operator anyhow because it is deprecated. Okay, and string format function, we learned that how useful it will be. So that's why I told you this is the mostly used one. Whenever you want to format your output, whenever you have floating point value to be printed, then always use this print string format function. It will be useful. It will be very useful. As generally Shikawat says that index value will be very useful to change the order of the output. Okay, that's what because I told you that if you wanted to change the order of the output, like I wanted to print this, I am saying I multiply by I and I into I into I. But you notice here I am saying I, but it did not printed I value here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not printing me. What it got printed is the last argument. How it printed last argument? Because I told that print second index, because we learned that this is at 0 index, this is at first index, and this is at second index. So here it printed the second index value, which is the result. I into I into I printed first. Then I'm saying that you print 0 index, which is I. So you notice here I value will be printed here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. I is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. So I value will be printed. And here I'm saying that you print me the first index value. So it will print you 1, 4, 9, 16 and all because it is I multiplied by I. Is that clear, Because? Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I hope this elaborated one, like we try to elaborate this print function. So I hope this will be helpful for your problem solving. Because first thing for any programming language is that your in how we take input and how we print an output. If these two things are clear, then you already solve 50% of the problem. Okay, and remaining you need to write the logic. You need to write the logic. And I also told you this knowledge will help you for competitive programming and for also for our problems as well, because when I upload this problem in the website, then it will add some test cases, and if you do not take the input as we mentioned, and if you do not print the output as it mentioned, then it is not going to evaluate your program. Same with platforms like HackerRank, HackerEarth, okay, CodeChef, all these problems, all these platform coding platforms, you need to be good with input and output, because we see that people are good with logic, but still they fail to write the programs in those platform, because they don't print their things properly as expected. So it's always the requirement that you should take the input as required and you should print the output as required always. So based on the requirement, you should write the input and output. That's why we spent all this last week or this week, two sessions we spent on understanding this print function and input function in detail, because this is very important. So how can we print string in this format? You can print string like this. You can say that you want to print hello, right? See, first way is string can be printed directly. There is no reason. You can string will be use double quotes to be printed always. You don't need any format to do that and all. Directly you can say double quotes and print string. That is one way. But still, if string is some variable, like for example your name. Okay, I'll take your name here. I hope it spells correct. Okay, I'll take your name here and I want to print your name. So I can print your name like this. Okay, I can say my name is, that is a string to be printed as it is. Then I will use this placeholder to print your name. I will use format and I will pass a here now. So it's going to print me my name is Vikas. Do you agree? Because my name is will be printed as it is, and here in placeholder it gets printed from the variable. Remember, if the string is direct, you can write directly, but if the string is present in some variable, then use the same thing, because that's what I told you, it automatically converts. This a can be integer, can be float, can be string, no problem. You still use this placeholder, it automatically converts, and the output will be my name is Vikas. So you didn't wrote Vikas here, but how it's coming? It's coming because of that placeholder. So I wrote placeholder and I passed that variable. I hope this example makes sense to everyone now. So again, your questions will help all of us, guys. Okay? Yeah, thank you, Satyam. Thank you, Aditi. Thank you, Nitin. Yeah, thank you, Vikas, for asking the question. Okay, yeah, thank you, everyone. So let's get into and talk about the fourth one. Let's get into talk about the fourth one. I told you it's very rarely used, very rarely used. As we all know that we have this concatenation operator, string concatenation operator. Okay, the fourth way is by using string concatenation operator. String concatenation operator. Okay, string concatenation operator, which is nothing but your plus symbol. We already learned about it. So in our previous program here, I can also use my string concatenation operator. I can also use my string concatenation operator. How? I can say here print, okay, name is my name is, I can use and the double quotes here. I can use this plus, I can use this plus and add a to it, and add a to it now. So this is how you can you used to write in Java. So in Java, if you are from Java background, anybody here, you can see that this is something looking like as you write in Java. Because in Java, you will not use this comma operator or the percentile operator or modulus operator or format function. In Java, generally you will combine and concatenate with this plus operator. Okay, this is how you print in system.out.println. So anybody from Java background, they can still use this approach, but very rarely people uses this approach. Why? We will answer you. Now you see that it's printing me the same result. It's printing me the same result now. As you can see here, that previous output and this output looks exactly same. But two things you need to be careful, that you add space here so that the space gets printed. Otherwise, the space will not be added. This is the first problem people generally faces. But the other problem is, what if this integer? What if this integer? Because we already learned that you cannot concatenate string with integer, you end up with a problem here now. You say that cannot, it can only concatenate string to string, it cannot be concatenated with integer. So if the variable is integer, then you cannot use this plus operator. Then what you have to do is, if still wanted to print it using this plus operator, you have to convert into string by using str function. You have to convert that variable into string by using this str function. So this additional things has to be added. So that's why this is not acceptable actually. Okay, that's why people will not use them much, but I hope you understood that if it is a string variable, I can concatenate them. So that's why it didn't created any problem here. So it printed me my name is uh, uh, because both of them are string. Left hand is string and right hand is string. That's why my interpreter did not complain. But when the variable got changed to 2, now I use the same sentence like my name is A. I got an error that it can only concatenate string with string, because left hand side we have a string and right hand side we have an integer. So cannot concatenate string with integer, we already learned. We already learned that cannot concatenate string with integer. So if you really want to use plus, then you have to convert into string. Otherwise, you go with comma operator or format function. That is much better. That's why people do not want to use this approach. Okay. So there was a couple of questions. Like Shikawat says, in my name is, and is this way it's work or not? No, you don't need that square brackets at all, Shikawat. You don't need that square brackets at all. Simply you write the way I have written there. My name is, and then open and close bracket. You don't require the square brackets. It will never work. It will end up with error. Okay. There another question. Then if you want to an integer output, how to get it? You need to convert into string. If you want to concatenate, it prints you the number, because when it gets printed, it doesn't matter whether it is integer or float. You temporarily convert it into string and then print it. Got it? Especially when you want to concatenate with the string. Otherwise, you can print integer directly like this. You can print integer directly like this. There is no problem. Only the problem is when you want to concatenate with string and you want to use this plus operator. You want to use this plus operator. Understood all? Understood all? Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's solve that problem, whatever I have given you as an homework. Let us solve that problem and try to print all the 4 ways. Then you conclude which one is better. Got my point, everyone? Okay. So this is the conclusion now. So these are the 4 ways you can use print statement. I put all the way, guys. Okay, I put all the way here. You need to decide, but all of them are acceptable except the second one because it is deprecated. Yeah, very good. Can we write like this? Yes, you can write like this. My name is so and so, my city is so and so, and you are forgetting to close the double quotes. I hope it's by mistake, because there is no closing double quotes. It started double quotes, but it is not closed after that. Yeah, 3 ways are good. 3 ways we use very frequently. But let me tell you, most frequently used is first way and third way. Most frequently used is first and third way. Second and fourth approach, people don't use it anyhow. Second one is deprecated, and fourth one is like, again, you need to use extra stuff. So every time you have to check that you are properly converting. Again, if you forget to convert, you will end up with error. So that's why it is not recommended to use. At least from my side, I will not recommend you to use this plus operator, but knowledge is required because it's important. Yeah. No, still you need to end the double quotes. Let me show you. I'll copy your program here. Okay, I'll copy your print statement here. Let me give name in A. A is equal to name, like I will write your name if you don't mind, SK, okay, and city, okay, B is equal to HYD. Let's mention this. Now, if I write this, what is happening is it will give an error actually because you're starting the double quotes here. Yeah, that's by mistake. Then it's okay. Okay, I thought you forgot to put it, so I'm sure like it's by mistake. So that is the correct one. Now it prints perfectly. Okay, it prints perfectly. You print my name is SK, my city is Hyderabad. But you notice here that after is, as we have not given space, so that's why it's not printing space here. So adding your spaces and all, it's our responsibility so that you wanted to see the output perfectly. So later I can change this A and B value, and then the print statement will print for everyone. This print statement will print the output for all of you. Understood all? Yeah, third way is the best way. That's true, Dari. We also conclude that third way is the best way. Second one is deprecated Satyam. People use it, no doubt. Okay, people use it, no doubt, but it is deprecated, meaning in future it may remove. So it's better not to use them. Okay, try to use the third one because it's mostly used. You will find a lot in documentations and all. So that's why you will use the third way. So for 5 minutes, can we solve that problem? Yesterday's problem? Okay, so let's go here and solve that yesterday's problem. The problem was, okay, let me just show you. The problem was, I think, no, not this one, right? Let me read it out and tell you the question again. Let me read it out the question. It says that suppose the cover price of a book is 24.95 rupees. So I'm not going to accept this value because it has been given directly in the question. Remember, if the value is given directly in the question, you can use them in the formula directly or you assign it to variable. Okay. Uh, that's why you need to understand what you need to take input and what will be the output. These problems we design so that you can concentrate more on input output rather than logic. And also this problem is little logical because we need to write the formula for this program, and it's little lengthier because first we need to understand the formula in a better way. Okay, so suppose the cover price of the book is 24.95 rupees. The bookstore gets a 40% discount. So first of all, I have to calculate the 40% discount for this particular each book. I have to calculate the 40% discount of the huge book. So we need to write the formula for that. We need to write the formula for that. Very good, Aditi. We'll get something like 14.95 after discount, and we have to add the shipping cost for it. That's all my formula. I need to calculate the discount price for that each book, and I have to multiply with the total number of books. What we got, we'll get the total output, and then we have to add the shipping cost for first book and remaining books as well. Then we'll get that result. And also we need to print in this format so we can use that. Okay, very good. Let me tell you like how we is going to solve this problem. So first thing, as I told you that cost of a cover book is 24.95. Cost of the power book is 24.95. Then I will get discount per book is 9.98. As Aditi told that when I subtract this, I will get 14.97 per book after discount. So I will write the formula to calculate this amount first of all. I'll write the formula to calculate this amount first of all. Okay, I will not break the formula. I will write it in a single line because the formula can be written in single line. So that will be better. Yeah, Saif, it seems good, but you calculated the percentage. So let write the formula to calculate the percentage as well. Okay, that's the beauty of programming, that you can write the formula to calculate the percentage also. So that way you don't have to calculate the percentage and you don't have to tell. Okay, so you can do that. Fine. So then it's for total number of books is 60. So whatever it can be 60 or 100 or 120, whatever it may be. Then I need to multiply this with 60 into 14. I will get 898. But this is not my final price. This is not my final price. I have to add the shipping cost. I have to add the shipping cost. What is the shipping cost? 3 rupees for the first book delivery and 75. So 59 will be remaining. Okay, 59 will be remaining. So I'll say 0.75 into 59. I'll get 44.25, which I will add with 3 rupees. Finally, I will get 47.25. This 47.25 is a delivery cost. I will add with that 898, will get 945.45 as a total bill. Is this clear, everyone? Very good. I can see all of you are coming with good formula and the program seems to be good. But let us do here so that you can check yourself, because I might not able to check all the programs right now. So you can just check and confirm me. As you, anyhow, you're getting the output as same. So only thing is make sure that you can little bit reduce it. Okay, that's what only my concern. Otherwise, your output or your programs are perfectly fine. Okay, let me start writing the program. So as you can see in my sample input output, I have shown you that here we are asking user to enter how many books they want. So this is a big sentence. I'll make it short here. I'll say enter number of books. So I'll say books is equal to I will say int of, because it's an integer now. How to find with taking user input? That's what here it mentioned in the question. Okay, bookstore. So he said that in this question, actually he said that what is the total cost for 60 books, 60 copies. So but in this program, actually I don't need input because he mentioned directly. Sometimes he will say for n copies. Actually the question should be for n copies. Okay, I'll change this. I'll change it to n copies now. Okay, then it means that the input I have to take from user. Agree? Yeah, that's what. It should be for n copies. So I change it now. So I'll save this so that it will be saved for future batches as well. Now you can see here that is asking for n copies. So that we know that n value we have to take from user. So good question again. So we need to accept that n value from user now. So instead of that, I will change it to n. That's look better, right? So number of books. So I'll say input because I have to convert into integer. I can say enter number of books. Actually, you can use the same way I have mentioned there, but I'm just using simple one here, enter number of books. Okay, so you can change if you wish, like you want whatever you wanted to ask. So I say enter number of books. The first line is over. We are accepting how many books you want. Now we have to calculate the total price. So I'll say total is equal to, I'll calculate the total price and print the total price. That's the job. 3 lines of code. So, but how to calculate the total price? First thing I have to calculate the discount. First thing I have to calculate the discount. How to calculate the discount? Okay, what I will do is, we know that 24.95 for each book. So I'll say 24.95. Okay, subtracted with 24.95 into 40 divided by 100. So I'm calculating the percentage. Okay, so 24.95 minus 24.95 into 40 divided by 100. Now if I print total now, it will print me the total cost you got after discount for one book. So the output will be 14.97. So let me run this code now and give the input as 60. I'll get 14.97339 and something like this. Okay, I'll get this result. Perfectly fine. We are getting it. Now I need to multiply with 60 copies, or n copies actually, sorry. I need to multiply with n now. Now I will print total. It will give you the for n books now. If 60 books now, it will give me that 898.43 what we calculated. That's all. We solve half of my formula. I calculated the 40% of that and I multiply with number of books now. Now I have to add 3 rupees for the first copy and then remaining n minus 1, because remaining copies will be n minus 1. I need to multiply with 0.75. That's all. You see, I calculated the 40%, okay, and multiply with n. So we got the total cost as I printed. I add 3 rupees for the first copy and remaining copies are n minus 1. I will multiply with 0.75 to get the total number of remaining copies. So finally I'll get the result, but I wanted to print the result something like this, right? I want to print the result something like this. Cost of buying and shipping. Let me print all the four ways. Let me print all the four ways now. Okay. The first approach is I can start writing in double quotes. I can start writing in double or single quotes. And whenever I wanted to print that value from variable, I will put comma and I will use the variable name. Yeah, program is 3 lines. That's good, right? So just 3 lines of code. Now I will write it n here. I will write it n. Then I will write the comma, the starting quotes again, then the end of the quotes, then comma, and the result will be in total. So this is my first approach with using comma. Looking good because it's only two variables, so looking good, but still not acceptable because you cannot format it properly. Second approach is by using percentile D, by using percentile operator, right? Percentile D is percentile F, percentile F and total. This is my second approach. And third approach is by using the that string function. So is this one. So this is my the second approach. I have to use this modulus and sorry, here I have to use two, right? N comma t. Sorry, you need to properly pass them, N comma t. Okay, and here also I have to use dot format, and here also I have to pass a comma tot total. So this is third way. And the fourth way is I have to use this plus operator. I have to use this plus operator and convert into string. Convert into string now. So use the plus operator again and use again here plus operator and convert into string. So you see all the way now. You see all the way. Okay. You see I'm printing actually one this line is enough. I will delete the other line just to show you. First approach by using comma operator. Second approach by using modulus operator. Third approach by using our format function. Fourth approach by using concatenation operator. You see the difference in the output as well. You see the difference in the output as well. I'll run the code now. This time I'll give the same 60 and you see that I got an error in this one, like it's not a, sorry, it's n. That's what. So I'll do one thing. I'll close this screen. Okay, I'll run once again. So I will run this code now. Okay, and 60 I will enter, and this time you see I got the output. But you see the difference in the output. You see the difference in the output. First output, it's not properly formatted, so I'm getting all 16 precision value. And the second one, the output is correct. The output is correct, right? The output is correct here. But the problem is we are getting some precise value. In the second line, we are getting, as we mentioned, percentile F, it printed me only 6 digits, but it rounded off. And here it's again same as my first one. And here its spaces is also missing. You need to be careful spaces when you do that. Okay, now how to format them? So here I need to use round function. Here I have to use, that's why it's not better because you have to use lot of things. This is also not better because it is deprecated and I have to use it. Okay, and this one is much better and you have to use the space properly here. So that's one of the key role, that you should use spaces properly and round them things properly. So that's why I'm going to delete the last one. I hope you agree that for this problem the last one is not looking good, right? Shall I delete the last one for this problem? Okay, very good. So you can understand that it's not looking good. And third one, anyhow, we're going to use it, so we'll keep it. And we will delete the second one because it is deprecated. It's I can print that output. It's fine. It's easy, but it is deprecated, so we'll remove the second one also. That is the reason. And first one, I have to round it off, and I have to use so many commas and so many quotation. I will delete this one also. So no more. So the best approach is by using this one. And you want to print only 2 digits. So you know that you can print colon and say 2f. That's all. That's all, guys. I'll run this code again. Now this time I will get the expected result. This time I'll get the expected result 60 and I'll get the expected result which is 945.69 or whatever. Okay, a little more precise. Deprecated means it's going to remove in future. you have a better function for that, better functionality, and in future it may get removed. That is mean by deprecated in programming language. Okay, so now shall we conclude this print function and this problem as well? And now you can enter any copies, not only 60. I shown you with 60 because it map with our sample input output. Now, so when we use input in is it waiting at same line, read the values, how to wait the input in second line. When you write multiple input function, it will wait you for second line. It will wait you for second line if you add one more input function. Or you wanted to go in next line, you can use \n. Like if your question is how to input in second line, then I can use \n manually so that it takes input in next line. If that is your question, if I misunderstood, then you can run like this. Now I run this code now. This time you see the cursor is in the next line. I can check for 200 copies. It will say that for 200 copies, the cost of buying and shipping 200 books is 3,144.47 and then 0.5. So it's printing me the way we want. I hope you understood what will be our process of learning. The process of learning is solving problems. Initially we will solve few problems. As we get confident, we'll start solving more problems. Okay, depends on topic as well. So we'll solve more problems in future. So we will do practical. Okay, and always I'll give you time to solve the problem. Okay, then we will solve the problem here so that you can see that if you have a better solution than us, you can always tell us, you forward us, we'll take that. And if you feel like this is better than your solution, then you can take this. This is how we will learn. And as you also seen that we will elaborate the topic, because what I believe that now if I ask you to talk about print function for at least 1 hour, can you all able to talk about print function for at least 1 hour now with all the knowledge you have? That's what I started, right? The more you have a knowledge, the more confident will be. Okay, so that is our major funda, that have a complete knowledge about that. Okay, so I hope you understood how we will be learning our future topics as well. Okay, so this is still it's not interesting whatever we discuss, because this is basic, right? We learn about input output. And what's wrong? You did this in C in 1 day. You did this in Java. You did this in C++. You did this in C#, whatever the language you come from. Or if you have no programming language background, still we believe that it's the good language to start with. Yeah, that's true, Shikawat. That's true. Okay, so you can speak confidently, and you can discuss, elaborate in more. Okay, you can elaborate it more. You can talk about print function arguments. You can talk about different ways of writing the print function. Now, I hope any of the program you see from here or any documentation you refer, you will not get confused with input and output now. Okay, you will not get confused why they are using int, why they are using string, str, why they are using float, why they are using eval, why they are using complex. In print function, why they are using comma, why they are using plus and followed by str. Okay, what is this open flower bracket, what is this colon, okay, what is point to f. So all these things will not confuse you now. Okay, so that's my intention of discussing all the way, so that from now you can select your way of printing it. Okay, so I will not tell you which way you have to use. It's you select the best way. If it is simple, you use comma. If it is like formatted one, use the third approach. So I recommend you first and third approach. Second and fourth approach I will not recommend because of deprecated one, and fourth approach is not appropriate, so will not recommend you that. So this is the conclusion for today's session. So we'll see you tomorrow with a new topic. And today anyhow, we'll have one homework. Let's go that. Okay, so let's go with a simple homework and then we'll solve it tomorrow. Okay, so the homework is you have to write a program, to create a program that asks the user to enter their name and their age, print out the message addressed to them that tells them the year that they will turn 100 years old. So very simple. You will ask your name will ask your age. Okay, so sincerely you can enter your name and age, and you can check that in which year you will turn 100. Like John is 90-year old, so I think in 2030, okay, he will become 100-year-old. 10 years after now from here. Okay, he will become 100 years old now, and it should be independent of year, guys, meaning that it should not only work for 2020, it should work for 2021, 22, 23, whatever may be the year. Okay, it should work and it should print you the output in which year you will become 100 years old. Is that okay? Yeah, you can solve now, but we'll take a leave, we'll check tomorrow. It's easy, right? But check with that Satyam, next one. It should be independent of year, Satyam. That's what the criteria. The criteria is it should be independent of year. Seems easy, right? It's only 3 lines of code, 3 to 4 lines of code now. Seems easy. And you can use our format function again very easily. Instead of putting comma everywhere, okay, you can use our format function. But okay, the criteria is it should be independent of year. So that needs little time for you. And it may be like we haven't discussed yet. So we will discuss tomorrow about that, how to do that. If you want to try, you try it. Otherwise, we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, Satyam? Yeah, thank you. And others are clear? Okay with others as well? Yeah, thank you, everyone. We'll take a leave now. Have a good day.